Hello, today I'm going to show you the ELD HOS back office and application, driver application. There's two parts to the software. You have the driver application, which is what the driver uses in his vehicle with his tablet, and you have the back office, which is what the administrators will see. They'll be able to work through the back office to see all their vehicles and their duty statuses and their time of driving and so forth. First thing I'm going to show you is the back office, the tablet app that the driver will use. What I'll do is show you how to briefly set up the tablet and the ELD device that comes in the kit, and then I'll go through the driver's app like a typical driver will have to do on his day. The first thing you're going to do when you power the tablet up, you're going to click the settings button down here on the right, bottom right. Click that. You want to make sure your Bluetooth is turned on. The device, ELD device, communicates with the tablet through Bluetooth. So I want to go in, make sure I turn the Bluetooth on, and then you're going to see a list of available devices right here, and you want to click on whichever one of these device numbers corresponds with the device that came in your kit. There should be a device number similar to this one right here. And what this is this is the number of the ELD device that connects to your CAN bus through the pigtail adapter in your vehicle, or it connects to your OBD port. So once you click on that device, it's going to show as paired up here at the top. Once it's paired, that means the tablet and the ELD device are communicating with each other. So once it's paired, you would go back to the home screen down at the bottom, click on that. Well, I accidentally clicked on Skype, excuse me. So once you click on that, it'll take you back to the tablet's main page. And then you want to click on the LB Technology HOS app that is already loaded on the tablet. You click on that, and what it's going to do is pull up your username and password page. And at this point, you want to type in your username and password. Your username is going to be basically your email address or a similar email address. And then your password is whatever it shows. We default to test123 on these new tablets if there is a login already created. You want to hit the save password and then log in. It takes a couple minutes or a minute or so for it to sync up and log in. So what the driver would do after he logs in, he's going to have to log into the truck, into the tablet, and then do his pre-trip inspection, and then he's ready to drive. All right, you can see here I've got some uncertified logs. This pops up if you've got some logs that you need to certify. So in order to certify these, you just click on them and agree to certify them if you want to certify them, or you can certify them in another area at a later date. So what I'm going to do is leave that one uncertified and go ahead and log into the system. Okay, so I did successfully certify one log. You can email it to anybody you like. It's automatically sent to the back office, and you can additionally email it to somebody else here if you want. I'm going to hit no. I'm going to hit OK for that. So this is what the driver will see when he first gets into the truck. You're going to have to, the first time you log into the system and the tablet and the ELD device are syncing together, you need to hit this connect button. And what that will do is connect the two devices. So you can hit connect or you can hit manual connect. If you do manual connect, you want to choose which device you have. Typically you're going to have this ELM327. Some customers might have this Geometrics device. I have a Geometrics device, so I'm going to hit next, and then you click on which Bluetooth device that you just plugged into your ELD port. I'm going to cancel this because I'm already hooked up. I'm not hooked up to a truck, so it's not going to let me sync, but typically all the driver's going to do is hit connect and connect, and that'll take him in and connect the two devices. So at this point, the driver is ready to go. Once he's connected right here, this yellow box should disappear. So once he's connected, he's just going to touch the screen, hit the drop-down menu, on duty, not driving, and that's going to take him in to on duty, not driving, where he can do his vehicle inspection. You can see he's got 8 hours till he has to take a break. He's on duty, not driving. As soon as the driver starts driving, this is going to automatically change to driving. As soon as you get over 5 miles an hour, this duty status will change to driving. So what I want to do first is, before I start driving, I need to do my driver's vehicle inspection report. Click the DVIR in the bottom left, and it'll take you to this page. You want to make sure you've got the correct form in here, the correct vehicle you're logged into. If you want to switch vehicles, if you hopped in a different truck than normal, you might want to have to switch vehicles to get in the right truck. But typically the tablet syncs with the device in the truck, so whatever truck it's synced with is going to show up right here. If you do have drivers that take that tablet and jump into another truck, if you assign tablets to drivers, they would have to go in here and sync every time with that new truck that they went into. But since we're leaving the tablet with the truck in most instances, you will not have to do anything up here. But this just shows you which two DVIR forms you have been assigned to through the back office, and typically you don't do anything up here. What you would do down here, click pre-trip inspection, click driver, or click post-trip inspection, and if you're a mechanic, if he goes in and fixes something that failed the last inspection, he can log in through the tablet or through the back office and make a note that he has fixed the problem, and that'll be put into the logs and into the vehicle inspection reports. But since I'm just doing my pre-trip inspection as a driver, I click those two, hit inspect, and it takes me to the inspection page. So what I need to do first is, there's two inspections, the tractor trailer and the trailer. I want to go through here and do the trailer first. I'm going to do the brakes, brake connections, tarp, tires, wheels, rims, other coupling devices, coupling pin, doors, hitch, landing gear, lights, roof, and suspension system. So that completes the trailer inspection. Then I want to do my truck inspection. So what I do is I click the truck inspection and go through, take the tablet, walk around the truck, and click everything that I want to inspect. If something does fail, for instance, if your fluid level was too low for your windshield wipers, washer fluid, you double click it, it puts it into a failure mode, or you can triple click it, it'll put it as not applicable. So if I failed my fluid inspection, I would double click it, put it thumbs down. I choose a high, medium, or low failure threshold. We'll call that high because that's going to be a violation. I can click this camera button right here, and what that'll do is activate my tablet. I can take a picture of whatever failed the inspection at that point, and then I hit the check button if I like the picture, and that puts that picture in that vehicle inspection report and attaches it to it. And I can also add notes by clicking the notes panel, and I can enter any notes that I want to put in right here. Low fluid, and then attach that, hit the OK button, and that attaches this to the file. You can also use the voice to text feature right here. If the driver does not want to type it in, he can click that and he can speak the notes instead of typing it in. Alright, so once we do that, you can see there's a picture attached, there are notes attached to the picture. It's a high-level failed inspection on the fluids. Then I would just continue my inspection. Sorry about that. Okay. As I go through to the muffler, the oil level, the radiator, the rear end, just click off each one as you inspect it. you have to inspect every item or it will not let you proceed. So each item does have to be checked. Steering, suspension. We do not have a check all button. Some apps that you might look at do have a check all feature. The problem with that is if you have an accident and you hit that check all button and an attorney subpoenas your records, which he will do, he's going to have a field day with that, because that kind of indicates you did not walk around and do the inspection if you hit the check all. So once you check all the things, you hit the finish button. That's going to take you in the certification area of the vehicle inspection. You check whichever box of these three is appropriate, condition satisfactory. If you want to add your signature for the first time, you hit that change signature button, and that takes you into the signature page. Click the done once you sign the tablet, and that takes you right here to finish DVIR. At that point, you are ready to start driving. Just hit finish, certify that it's true and correct, and you are ready to start driving at that point. There's 3 times that the driver will have to manually do anything in the application. When he gets on duty, he has to hit on duty not driving and do his pre-trip inspection. When he starts his brake, he has to manually hit the start brake right here. And then when he finishes driving, he has to do his post-trip inspection and log off the system off duty. Or if he goes into sleeper berth, he would have to manually do that. So you can see I've got 7 hours and 53 minutes until I have to take my break. You have to take a mandatory 30-minute break uninterrupted. If you log back into the system before the 30 minutes is up, you have to take your break all over again. So right here you hit, say I was had driven 8 hours, I want to take a break. I just click on the start brake on the tablet. It's going to ask you if you want to start your brake. Hit yes, and then you can see I have 30 minutes till my brake is up. Now when your brake is over, there's 2 ways you can do it. You can start driving or you can hit end brake. I would recommend you hit end brake. It's going to ask you if you're not done with your 30 minutes, it's going to ask you if you're sure you want to end your brake, and that being the reason that you have to take an uninterrupted 30-minute break. So basically I have not taken my break at this point because I didn't take 30 full minutes. So now I have 7 hours and 52 minutes till my break. If I'd taken my 30-minute break, it would still read the same. I mean, it would read a little different. Excuse me. All right, at that point, you just start driving, and this will automatically change to driving as soon as you get over 5 miles an hour. So now I'm ready to start driving. I've got 7 hours and 52 minutes till I have to take my break. I can start driving, and that's the last time I have to touch the tablet until I take my break. So if I just say I just got pulled over at a weigh station or something, I need to do a roadside inspection and produce my logs. I would click roadside inspection. There's 3 places that you can find the roadside inspection information on how to transfer the data. One is right here, one is under the options menu, and one is under this 3-bar panel up here. We've designed it so that everything is in 2 or 3 different places in the driver's app. Reason being is we want to make sure they can find it. If they forget how to use the system, or they don't know quite how it works, if they just start clicking around, they're going to find what they need. We've got it in 2 or 3 places. So the roadside inspection, there's 2 ways you have to do it. You have to manually show the inspector your logs, or you have to electronically transfer them to the inspector. Manually, you just hit start review, hand in the tablet, and you can click back to yesterday. You can see this is my log for yesterday. He can scroll down and he can see all my duty status changes for yesterday. If I wanted to just look at today, I'd go back to today, see all my duty status changes for today. But that's how you would do the manual inspection. It's very simple. He just uses the back arrow and he goes back and looks at the 7 days logs that you are required to produce. And of course right here it's going to have all the information that you need, the VIN number, the carrier, the location, etc. All right here in the system. And then it's also going to have, in each duty status change, it's going to have the locations. And as you drive along, it's going to have all the locations you need. Okay, the next way to do it is to do the data transfer electronically. You're required to have 2 different methods to send the data electronically. We have 3. We have Bluetooth. Just click on Bluetooth. Put any notes here. Hit OK. Choose the Bluetooth device that the inspector will provide you with. Just click on it right here. And at that point, my data has been sent to that device. The next way is to use the USB. He'll hand you a USB. You plug it into the tablet. You click USB, hit OK, and it loads it to the USB. Email, just click email. Enter any notes you want to put in right here. Maybe please don't cite me or whatever you want to put. Enter the email address. Hit OK, and it's going to take you to the email screen for you to review it before you send it. This is who it's coming from, your tablet, or the back office, excuse me. This is the email where it's going. If you typically have the same inspectors, that email is going to be stored. You can CC people here. This is what you're sending. Those are the notes. And just hit this arrow right here. You don't really have to review it. Just hit that arrow and it's automatically sent. So that's how you would send the data transfer and the manual review. The next area are going to be the logs. If the driver wants to review or edit his logs, click the logs button or click the drop down menu. The logs are going to be right here also. And they're in the options area also. Okay. So to hit my logs, I just hit logs. And you can see, you can scroll down and you can see any uncertified logs. It's going to have all your logs listed for the last 8 days, today and 7. You can see I've got one right here I haven't certified yet for Saturday. I double click that or click that and it's going to pull that log up. And at this point, I can certify it here. I can edit it here. As to a toll road or off-road, I can double click on the log in this area and it'll pull that log up so I can add statuses to it. I can edit my log if I forgot to log out at some point and went off duty and didn't mark it off duty. You just click what status you want to change it to, the time you want to change it, insert this, put notes in right here. You're required to put at least 4 characters on the notes, and then the reason for the edit, and then just hit OK. You also have personal use and yard moves. When you log in as driving or log in as on duty, not driving, you can check personal use. For instance, if you're taking the truck home, and that way it won't count against your driving time. Or you can check yard move. If you get in and you got to move it across the yard at the terminal, that way whatever you do on personal use or yard moves is not counted against your driving hours. But in this particular case, we're just doing an edit. I'm just going to hit OK. It's going to give me an error because I didn't put my notes in. Just hit OK. Well, let me select the reason. Incorrect status, hit OK. And that edits my logs for this day. Okay. I can also add an exception right here. If I want to put an exception in, I can do that. This is where I go in. One place I go in and choose exceptions. All right. You can also add a shipment to the log. If you want to add shipments, I can put an order number here. Tab over, put the weight, who it's from, where it's going to, etc. I could go down to shipments unloaded today, and I could also enter that same information in: order number, collector bill, amount collected, mailed papers from, etc. If I want to add a shipment to it, I can also review the miles I've driven for this particular log or day by state. Okay, I can also inspect my DVIR form if I want to look at my DVR form for this day, I can pull that up right here, and it's going to ask me if I want to inspect it or look at it. Just hit inspect, and it'll pull up your DVR form for whatever day you were just on, in this case Saturday. And then, of course, once I'm happy with it, and or if I don't want to edit it, I just hit this certify button, and it's going to ask if I agree with the log, and I certify it, and hit OK here, and it's going to ask me if I want to email it to somebody. It's automatically sent to the back office, so I'm not going to email this to anybody else, but you can if you want to. There we go. So if I want to just certify it without looking at it, just hit that certify button once again and hit agree. All right. Okay, let's see. Now, if you do want to, I believe I've just gone over all this stuff, so I think we're good here. All right, the next area, if I just swipe out of that, you can see I changed my status to off duty here. So let me go on duty, not driving again. Okay, so right here, the next area is the shift and cycle. This just shows you how much driving time you have left today, how much shift time you have left today, how much cycle time you have left for the week or the cycle, and how much time you have until your next break occurs. Okay, you can also view that right here by clicking on that once. It'll pull the same information up. Once again, we've got some redundancy built in. But whatever is going to be in this box is the actual driving time you have right now till either your next break or till your day is over. And it'll turn yellow, and then it'll turn red when you're in violation. So if it turns yellow, you're about to go and you're getting close to your violation. Turns red, you're in violation. All right, the recap box or button, that just shows you how many hours that you have worked for the last 7 or 8 days. Today plus the last 7 days. Options, this is where you're going to do lots of different stuff. You've got shipping documents. If I want to add a shipping document or a bill of lading, I can attach that to my log at this point. Just hit OK, and it'll attach it on there. Co-drivers, this is where you would log in a co-driver in the system if you have co-drivers. And when you switched co-drivers, you would hit right here to switch co-drivers. All right, exceptions, this is where the driver can log into as an using an exception or add it to his driving record for that day. If you want to do the 16-hour driving window once per week for today, I could do that. Let's go ahead and do that. And you do have to put notes in. Each record has to have some notes. Then just hit the OK button, and it's going to return you back to the options screen. Now, if I wanted to add any documents, I could click that documents button at the right. This is to add fuel receipts, bill of ladings, citations if you want to put those in your record. Just hit the add button right there. You can take a picture with the tablet. Say I wanted to pretend that's a fuel receipt. Let's try that again. I actually messed up my GoToMeeting. Take your picture. If you like what you made a picture of, just hit the OK button, the check arrow there. Then you use the drop-down menu. We'll call this a scale ticket. Put in any reference numbers or notes. Reference number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Any notes you want to put in right here, and hit the OK button. And at this point, you can view them with the list view or the grid view. All right, and these are also stored in the system, so the back office will actually be able to go in and see these. Now, if I did a fuel receipt, it's going to have a little bit of different stuff to enter here. You're going to have a gallons, total cost, odometer. This is where you would enter all your fuel information, the type of fuel, for instance, special diesel if you use that, what state you're in, etc. And this is where you'd store all your information for your IFTA report. Hit OK on that, so that's all stored in there. Now, if I want to change this, if I accidentally hit scale ticket, I just go in and change it, make it a fuel receipt, and it'll pull up all this fuel information so I can enter that. Okay, hit OK, go back, and we're back to the screen. Switch equipment, same thing I showed you on the other one. If he say he wants to switch trailers at this point, if I had trailers in the system through the back office, this is where I could, if I dropped one trailer and picked up another, I could switch that trailer out through here. Okay. Remarks, that's just any notes you want to enter based on off-road or tow road, so you don't have to pay the taxes on that. Gain time, that's just going to show me any time I gain driving time. Data transfer, it's just what I showed you a minute ago, just a different location for it where you can do the Bluetooth, USB, or email. Data transfer to the inspector, and then the return to HOS screen. All right. One other thing I want to show you, that's it for the basics of the driving app. The only thing the driver is going to have to do other than this is when he's driving at the end of the day, he stops. This will change to on-duty not driving after 5 minutes of idling or sitting in one location. If he wants to change it manually to save that 5 minutes of driving time, he can manually go in here and change it to on-duty not driving, and at this point he would have to do his post-trip inspection. So if I do my post-trip inspection, just click DVIR, make sure you check post, make sure you check driver, hit inspect, and it's going to take you into your post-trip inspection. Once again, you go through here and you click all of these items. On your post-trip inspection. And go through and do the other one. It's a little quicker when you don't have to use the mouse. But once again, this is one of the 3 times you have to do anything manual. Everything else is automated. So, at the risk of repeating myself, just the log-in, pre-trip inspection, start break, post-trip inspection, and log out. That's the only time you have to manually do anything. Hit finish, hit OK. My signature's already in there. Finish DVIR. I certify it. And at this point, I'm done for the day, and I'm going to log out into off duty, and I'm done for the day. Now then, there's a couple more things in here I do want to show you. On this drop down menu on the top left, everything can be found in this area also. We also have a work order feature. If the driver is sent a work order from the back office, this is where he would click to see his work orders. His tablet will make a noise. He'll have a little box that pops up here. He can do routing right here at this point. He can pull up, check the work order. So I want to check in or check out. When I get to the job site, I can check in right here. I can have the customer sign the work order when it's completed. But this will show you, the back office sends a work order. It tells you what the task is, etc. Let me get it to switch. It's going to give me a report. I can take any pictures I need to at the job site. The description would be right here, what they typed in the back office. And when I'm done with this particular job, I just hit checkout. It shows you how long it worked, and it'll send it to the back office saying that it has been done. You can also pull a report up right here if you need to. I don't have any information in here. Or I could, excuse me, you could enter information in here. This is where, say, work completed or problem finishing or whatever you needed to type in right here. And you can, of course, take a picture and attach it to the work order, or say you broke something or anything you want like that. Then hit checkout, and it would send that to the back office. Okay, let me go back to this drop-down menu. Job sites, that's just going to be job sites for work orders. All right, but what I wanted to show you mainly here was the help and support. Anything that has to do with the driver's application is going to be in this drop-down help menu. So for instance, if I needed help with my driver's logs on how to edit them, I could go right here, editing the driver's logs, and it's going to tell me exactly how to do it for every step of the way. But everything that the app does is going to be listed in this help section, and it will walk you through anything you need to do. For instance, it'll just tell you everything about it. It tells you how to enter a document. It tells you how to do a work order, how to do data transfer right here. It tells you exactly how to walk through it. But that's a really helpful, useful feature. So that's it for the driver's application. What I want to show you now is the back office. Let me change my screen sharing on the video here. And this is the back office. Okay, so what the back office is divided into 4 areas: hours of service, IFTA, mobile worker, and settings. So what we have here are the settings. I'll show you the settings first. This is basically where you set up drivers, set up users for the back office, set up drivers, set up equipment such as your tractors or your trailers. First thing I'll show you is the account settings. We do alerts for the back office for violations or violation notifications. We do have an update coming out, so if they fail the DVIR, you'll get a notification also. But you can send text messages or emails whenever any of these violations occur. Okay. You can also change some information, carrier information if you needed to change it or you entered it wrong. This is where you do it. Count properties. Typically you don't want to touch anything in this area, but what you do want to know how to do is set up new users for the back office or edit old users. If I wanted to edit an old user, I would click this pencil over here to the right, and that'll pull up his information. Say I wanted to make this guy inactive or delete him out as a user, I could do that here. If I wanted to add a user, I click the add button up here, the plus sign, fill in all this information, and assign user roles at this point right here. Then hit the save button, and I have a new user. Now, any users to the back office are going to have to have an email format for their username. Typically, you just want to put in their email and go from there. Drivers, if you want to add a driver, you can do that through this area right here. Just hit the plus button, and you can add a driver, or you can upload a CSV file if you've got one. Enter all the driver's information. You want to make sure these 2 boxes are checked so they can do personal use or yard moves. Pretty self-explanatory here. You assign them to a terminal right here. If you've got a terminal or time, assign them to a terminal here. If you've got different terminals, put their CDL in here, the state, etc. Hit save when you're done. Equipment, same functions. Hit the plus button. You can upload a CSV. So if I wanted to edit this particular truck, I could go in right here, or I could add one right here. I can assign them to a terminal here. Select which DVIR form you want to have them use. Say he's a ready mix truck. I could change that right here to that. But anyway, fill that out, hit OK, and you're good to go. The next one is terminals. If you want to add a terminal to the system. Sorry, I'm getting a few emails here. Just hit add terminal, type in the information. That's if you've got a branch office or different terminals that you use and you want to assign different drivers to different terminals. That's how you would create the terminal. Then you go in the driver and assign them to a terminal. Once again, we do have the help button up here. So whatever page you're clicked on over here on the left, you hit this help button, it's going to pull up terminals, or it's going to pull up account settings. Whatever page you're on is what shows up in the help menu. And once again, it walks you through every single step for everything on the page. So if you do forget something, you can always pull the help button up and see exactly what you need to know. That's basically it on the settings, because we're going to set the account up for you. We're going to load any vehicles and users and drivers that you send us to load. We'll have all that preloaded for you. The next area is the mobile worker. I talked about that on the driver's application. If I wanted to create a work order and send it automatically to the driver's tablet in his truck, I would just hit this plus button up here, assign it to a driver, Mark Coggins, assign him a job site. I only got one job site in here. If I've got to add a new address that's not already stored in the system, once you type an address in, it is stored. We'll just use that simple. You just enter the address in it right here and hit save once you get it in there. Or you can upload a file if you need to upload the file. And that would add a new job site. Type in any description you want to put right here. And then request a start time and date for this job. Hit apply, hit save, and that work order is automatically sent to that particular driver. So you can see right here on the 2 work orders I already have in the system, I just updated. We've got, he's viewed this work order, he has not viewed this work order. This is the one I just created, that's the one I created this morning. So if I want to go in and close a work order out, the driver would have to go in and close the work order out, and it would show closed right here. You can edit this work order here. If I needed to change it after I'd already sent it, I could edit it and hit go, and it would change that work order. All right, the next area is the hours of service. This is where you're typically going to spend all your time. This is where you monitor your drivers and your vehicles in their hours and everything to do with their ELD logs. So this is the drivers area. You just open it up or collapse it. Drivers, it's going to list the driver name, what vehicle they're in currently, what their current status of duty is right here, on duty, off duty, etc. You can see anything in red, that's going to be a violation. I'm going to log in my tablet for this right here. Is on duty, not driving, just to show you how quick it'll respond. So you can see I just logged in. So what I want to do is this area, the back office refreshes every 3 minutes. If I hit the refresh button, so you can see I'm in red. Okay, I accepted a duty request when I logged in, and it put me in red. So I'm going to have to do a back office edit. But this just shows you their duty status, what time they were last contacted, their last position. I just logged back to off duty. So you can see it does change pretty quickly. How much drive time they have left, how much shift time they have left, how much cycle time they have left. The next time they gain time, I'll gain time tomorrow at 1:15 a.m. I'll gain 11 more hours. My next violation is not applicable. Time to next violation, not applicable. And any uncertified logs that I do have. Okay. Now, if you wanted to view any one of these drivers' logs, there's 2 ways to do it. Click on logs, or you can just click on the driver. I'm going to click on the logs button. Also, one other thing, you can view these drivers by terminals. You can viewing by all drivers or the main office or individual drivers, or I can do it by active or inactive drivers. We do have to store inactive drivers in case you do get an audit. You'll have to produce their logs. So if I want to see the logs, I can click on the logs through the driver report, or I can go down and click on logs and click on an individual, and it'll pull up their logs for the day. So you see, these are my logs for yesterday. These are my logs for today. All right. If I wanted to edit this driver's logs, over here on the left, it's going to give you the carrier, the information, how many miles they drove on that particular day, any shipments that are attached to it. Right here on this area, you can scroll back and forth and view logs. Okay, right here, if I wanted to edit a driver's logs through the back office, I could do it right here. I could do it right here with status. I could add say I wanted to just add a status. I could add a status right here, pick a time, and I could insert that status into this log. I could edit his log. If I wanted to do that here, I could add a status, or I could select a reason for it, add status right here. You can also, if I wanted to change, for instance, this status right here to not driving, on duty not driving, I can just go in here, hit on duty not driving, put some notes in here, reason for edit, incorrect status selected, hit save, and that'll change that duty status. And what you can see right here, you're required to show the original log, but you can see right here, this is where I changed it. So if I want to expand this and see what the edit was, just hit that little expand button. It'll show you the edit right there. You can also add, right here, you can add shipments, forms, remarks. I can put this driver on an exception if he didn't have one chosen and he needed one. For instance, if it was inclement weather, snow, or something, I could add that exception into this log. He'd gain a little driving time. If I wanted to add a shipment, I could do that. Put a shipping number in here. If I wanted to add just notes or remarks, I could do that. If I wanted to add a form, I could do that. Upload a form off my driver log edit form. We do provide that. If you upload that, it'll be in the system. The next area are the violations. This is just going to show you any violations. I can run it on driver. I can run it on terminal. I can run it by violation type. I can also sort this. I want to see all violations for the last 30 days. It shows me that. This will show me any documents or notes attached to it, or I can attach some to it. This will show me the violation in a little more detail. Then you've got unidentified driving. Any driving that's not been identified, if somebody jumps in the truck, drives down the street, and does not log in, that driving has to be accounted for. This is where you would go in and assign that driving to a particular driver. Reports, we have 8 reports in this section here. You've got an hours and miles report, edit logs report, driver logs, DVR. Say I want to see a DVR report for the last, I want to see every report for the last 30 days for all drivers. Just click that, choose your dates. You can go back to 6 months, hit custom range. You can go back and look at 6 months worth of driving records if you want. Well, let's just pull up 30 days. Now I can go through here and I can pick any one of these. I want to see today's pre-trip inspection right here. I just open that up. It's going to pull up the driver log report, vehicle inspection report, excuse me. Down here it's got places where I signed. If I'd done my post-trip inspection and completed it for this particular date, this is where I'd see that. Okay. Work orders, it's going to show you a summary of your work orders, hours worked, pretty self-explanatory. Next area is the DVIR history. If I want to see anybody that failed, for instance, I could go in here. I can see I've got a 1 here, I've got a 1 here. So if I want to see this, why this vehicle failed, I can open this up right here with this plus, expand the report. I want to see the trailer, see if it's on the trailer. So it's not on the trailer. Let's go to the truck. And as you scroll down, you'll see right here, you've got a failure for fluid levels, high priority. Now, if my mechanic went in and fixed this, he'd just go over here to the edit button, update details, check repairs made or repairs not necessary. Repairs made is going to give you a green. Repairs not necessary is going to give you a gray little wrench. So if I hit save here, you can see I made the repairs. It's got the green wrench. If repairs were not needed, you'll have a gray wrench. But either way, you'll quickly know if the mechanic has addressed this issue or looked at this problem as you look through your vehicle inspection reports. All right. And you click to the right, it'll pull up that vehicle inspection report with a picture of it if you attached it. Okay, the next area are the malfunctions. This is going to be anything the device malfunctions on. I don't have any malfunctions data in here. Let me go back for the last 30 days and see if I've got anything. No, I do not. But any malfunctions that the device reports, say it fails to work, that's where you'd see that. Log edits, this is going to show you any log edits. You can run this for drivers. You can run it for all logs, accepted, rejected, or outstanding logs. And of course, you can run it for the last 30 days, all logs, all log edits, excuse me. And this will show you quickly anybody's log edits. Well, that's basically it for the back office.